what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Geek XP. I'm Carson, and today we're going to be going over Game of the Year nominations, and we're going to be picking our Game of the Year. And two people that I have with me today are Marley.
Hey, everybody, what's going on?
And I got Nate with me, too.
Hello.
So before we get into our Game of the Year, it's going to be interesting, too, I think, because you guys have strong opinions, and I have probably a pretty strong opinion.
Your opinions don't matter, though.
Oh, it sucks. But we're going to save that till later, and then we're going to start with games that we played throughout the year. For the most part, like I might have missed one or two. I can't remember all of them.
I can't remember it all.
But I'm going to go through my list real quick, and then we'll go to Marley and then Nate.
Okay.
All right. So Overwatch is the first one I put down because that's a game that I continually play for the most part. And that was, I think, the game I was playing at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Great game. Love it. I'm glad it won Game of the Year last year. It deserved it.
And it's renominated for something this year.
It is. It is. I forget what the nomination is.
Best esport.
Best esport.
That fits.
Yeah, I could see it winning that, to be honest. Halo Wars 2 is my next one. And that's a sad game.
Yeah.
I don't think it's sold very well at all. And the Halo franchise has been struggling greatly. Yeah. It's really sad. Like I like Halo Wars a lot. I didn't get into Halo Wars 2 as much as I did the original one. It was fun though. I just played the campaign and a few multiplayer matches, and that was it.
And to be fair, it came out like a week before Zelda?
Yeah, it's bad time,
it came out right before Horizon. It came out right before Zelda. It came out right around when For Honor came out as well. So, yeah, not great.
Yeah, that's just an unfortunate release window situation. It just got buried.
Yeah, I had fun with it though. I will say there were some like frame rate issues without like some patches. I'm sure they fixed it by now, but when I first played it, there was some heavy frame rate.
I remember that. It was real bad.
My screen literally froze for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was bad.
But next I've got Breath of the Wild, which I freaking love Breath of the Wild. Like, I can't believe, like, I remember the time where it was leading up to it. I was like, I can't wait. And then now I'm, like, almost a year by it. And I'm like, dang.
Carson,
and we're still waiting for some DLC on
we got to the store hours before it opened to reserve our collector's edition.
Yep.
We slept in a car.
Marley and I slept in a car waiting outside of GameStop. And Marley got in line first, and I got in line third because there was a guy that kind of snuck in there real quick.
Yeah.
You know what I did? I didn't get up that early and waited like a week, and just walked into a GameStop and got the last one they had.
Wait, you waited more than a week?
Was it more than a week?
I'm pretty sure you waited like
it was a little while.
It wasn't a
month. It was less than a month.
Marley, do you remember?
I think it was less than a month. To be fair, Nate, we were trying to get the collector's edition of the game.
That's true.
Yep.
That's what we were trying to do. It wasn't
very true.
And that's what he missed out on. But that's a whole nother.
Yeah. Yep. So after Breath of the Wild, I played Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Super fun game, just like the Wii U edition.
That we peer pressured you into getting.
Yep. That definitely happened. I caved pretty hard because, like, when that came out, I was done with Breath of the Wild for the most part, and I needed a game to play on the Switch, and that game was just like ready and waiting.
We all have that, right?
We all have that game. Yep, and that's a throwback to Mario Kart Mondays, also.
That's right.
Yep.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, those were fun.
We may have to switch it up soon.
Yeah, I actually with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I traded in like 3 games, and it was free for me.
I'm getting a little tired of that Smash Bros.
Smash for Game of the Year.
As Josh would say.
All right, next, Fire Emblem Shadows of Valentia for the 3DS.
That's right.
Now, when they announced the Fire Emblem franchise was going to keep going and stuff, and they announced this, I was like, no, not the 3DS. I don't want any more. But then, like, as it got closer, I was starting to get that itch again for Fire Emblem, and I was like, oh no. I really want this game now. And they changed a bunch of stuff. Like, there was dungeon diving and exploration. Yeah, and when I finally started playing the game, the story is probably one of the best Fire Emblem stories I've ever played.
Oh, man.
And there's voice acting for the entire game. Everything's voice acted.
I can't remember what the last one I got
Fire Emblem Fire Emblem games are chatty.
Yeah, they are.
Everything was voice acted, and all the voice acting was great. Like, not a single person's voice acting was bad.
This chair is really squeaky. I didn't realize that.
So, yeah, Fire Emblem was great. Then I played Rime, which is a fun, like, little game. Platform was alright. There was some frame rate issues. Then I played Abzu, which was Journey Underwater. And that game was really good, I thought. Not as good as Journey, but just kind of like, just right, like, below it.
It was fun to watch you play.
Yeah, it was really cool. Marley definitely needs to play that game because he loves sharks, and there's a shark in there. Next is Gigantic, which was kind of a third-person MOBA game.
Yep. It's fun.
It has
like the characters,
super
Marley.
stylized art, and the characters are really cool, and the gameplay is pretty interesting too. Yeah. I don't think it's doing super well though because that market is super saturated right now.
Very much.
But I thought they did something pretty unique, and I had fun with it.
I think what really sells that one is just the character design.
Yeah.
And how everyone plays so differently.
Character design's great. Next, I played Samus Returns on the 3DS, and that... I want to give that like my 3DS game of the year, but I think Fire Emblem Shadows of Valentia is my 3DS game of the year.
I don't think I got Shadows.
No, you didn't.
Well,
you still haven't beaten the last one that came before that.
I started playing it, I couldn't.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. And this one's way better.
But, yeah, I think it's better. Yeah.
Alright, maybe I'll.
Samus Returns though is really good, and I'm so happy that Samus is back. This game, I've never really played a 2D Metroid before, so this was like a perfect kind of introduction for me to play it. And the end of that game is super awesome. Like the boss fight at the end, really cool. Good. Then Destiny 2. Destiny 2 was pretty good, but
for like 3 weeks.
I played it for 3 weeks and I haven't touched it.
Yeah. I don't even know where mine is at the moment. Yeah. I was looking for it yesterday.
Super fun. I did have fun playing it, but it didn't hook me like the first game did.
It's too repetitive still.
Yeah. It was good, though. And then the last game that I played is Mario Odyssey.
Worst game ever invented.
And...
Hooey!
Yep, Mario Odyssey's really good. And I was just
good.
playing it before we started here. Just getting some moons and stuff like that. So that's it for my list, guys. Let's go to Marley.
Alright, so... most of my gaming has been done on this guy, and I'm holding up my Switch for everyone. So what I've played. This isn't in, I guess, chronological order of when it came out, because I don't remember everything. But going through my library, Kamiko, a cool little action indie for the Switch. It was like $5.
I forgot about that.
We got a Let's Play of that on the channel.
Yeah. So that was really fun. I am Setsuna, a Chrono Trigger inspired turn-based RPG. Really good, but it's really sad, so I only play it in small doses. That girl's gonna die at the end.
And there's gonna be a sequel-ish, not a
Lost
sequel,
Sphere.
but like Lost Sphere. Is it a direct sequel or is it like?
I think it takes place in the same world.
Okay.
But so yeah, I am Setsuna. Shovel Knight Treasure Trove Edition.
Nice.
Which is the main Shovel Knight campaign plus all the DLC for free.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I still haven't played Spectre Knight, Nate, so...
Spectre Knight is the best.
ARMS, which was...
Do it.
I famously always get fighting games, but then stop playing them because I'm not good at them. And ARMS is the first fighting game where I felt like I had a grasp on it and I could be competitive with it.
Yeah.
You know, my ranking's not great, but I have fun, and it's not like an endless... It's like an endless cycle of frustration for me, like a lot of other ones.
Yeah, like a Street Fighter. Like, me going to Street Fighter would just be, like, frustrating.
Yeah.
Smash Bros.
Yeah. So I love the character designs in ARMS. I love the art style. I had a lot of fun with that, and I played it for a long time.
Yeah.
1-2 Switch, which I got when the Switch first came out. Not the best game ever, but it's a great showcase for the Joy-Con.
Definitely game of the year.
Dark Horse.
Yeah, coming out of nowhere.
I think it's the perfect game to have around if you have people who aren't familiar with the Switch coming over. Just be like, here's this awesome tech demo. You know, I don't know if I would have, looking back, paid $50 for it.
Yeah.
Which is what I did, but you know, I have it, and I had my fun with it. I've broken it out at a couple gatherings with some friends. So, Splatoon 2, which I mean, I'm not sure, but I want to say Splatoon 2 probably has as much playtime on my Switch as Mario and Zelda do.
Wow.
I got super wrapped up in this game. It's got this great slow drip of content, and free content too. Like they just did a huge new update with some new modes, and I think like new courses and stuff. It's not a completely new game, but it's like an even better version of the first one.
Right.
Sonic Mania. It's good that we had one good Sonic game this year. It's a shame that other one never came out.
A shame that other one never came
out. Yep. It just definitely did not come out at all. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Played a lot of that with you guys.
Yep.
Breath of the Wild.
But of course.
Which I have a feeling we'll be talking about a little later, so I won't gush endlessly, but, you know, I've got about 100 hours logged in that.
Yep.
Stardew Valley, which is a game that I've wanting to play for a long time now, but I didn't want to play it on my PC.
Yeah.
And it came out on Switch, which is honestly the perfect system for it. I love my anime farming games. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. Super Mario Odyssey, which is the best game. Oh god, it's so good.
Yeah.
And once again, we're gonna be talking about that later, so I won't gush continuously. But and then I just rebought Skyrim. So I'm playing that. Why are you guys laughing?
A lot of games.
Yeah. Skyrim.
Games.
And then I just recently picked up Nier Automata, which I'm only about 10% through.
Nice.
But I'm already really liking it a whole lot, and I could honestly see this being a dark horse for my Game of the Year pick, depending on how I feel by the end of it.
Yeah, I've heard the story is really good, and I think it's nominated for like best story or something like that. I think in the Game Awards.
Yeah, best narrative, I think.
Best narrative. Yep. So is that it, Marley, for your
games?
Yeah,
that's it.
So before Nate gets to his, I remembered one that I finished beginning of this year, Final Fantasy 15.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. That game was really good, in my opinion. Now, take that with a grain of salt. I'm not a Final Fantasy fan. So, for diehards, don't take me too seriously when I say that. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. The story was pretty good. I didn't like them forcing me out of the open world at a certain point.
Right.
But I'm not against the linear nature of it either. Like, it's cool. So, yeah, Final Fantasy 15. Definitely good game. All right, Nate.
My list is really short.
That's
because
fine.
You guys have all said all the other ones.
That's fine.
So we got Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yes.
Fantastic game, and I really need to buy the DLC. I forget what it's called now.
Yeah. I really need to play it.
Frozen Wilds.
Frozen Wilds. I think. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I mean, playing as this badass girl fighting robot dinosaurs with a bow and arrow is the greatest combo I never knew I wanted.
It's definitely going to get some awards at the Game Awards, and it is nominated for Game of the Year.
Yeah, it's awesome, badass, and everything.
Yep.
After that, we got Cuphead, which I still haven't beat because it takes me 2 hours to fight one boss. But graphically, visually, it's amazing.
It's going to win Best Art Direction.
Without a doubt.
Hands down.
And the mechanics are pretty solid. They're easy to understand. Lots of cool different weapons and loadouts. I think in the entire game so far, we ran into one bug.
Okay.
And it was that one boss with the cake. And you got rid of the progress after you died, so you had or you didn't know how close you were to beating it. And so that was kind of frustrating. But other than that, so far it's been solid, and I got to play more of it.
Hard game.
Really hard game.
Hard.
And the last one would be Shadow of War, which is awesomely fun, just murdering orcs, running around with the Wraith of Celebrimbor in you.
Yep, the most canon of, of the Tolkien universe stories.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten very far into it. I've just started to make my army, my orc army.
Yep.
One of the cool things they added is the ability to, once you build your army, you can invade other people's forts online.
That's cool.
And try to take down their army, which is really fun. But apparently, I haven't got this far, but apparently the end all of a sudden hits a wall where it goes from just like this fun game to 15 hours of grinding. Or the magic power of loot boxes to expedite that grind.
Yep.
So I'm not looking forward to that. But I mean, if the grinding is fun, then it'll still be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it's got a satisfying gameplay loop.
Yeah, so hopefully that'll still be good when I get to that point.
Yeah.
But I mean, I played a bunch of other games. What was it? I just got South Park Fractured Butthole.
Yeah.
And so far that's pretty fun. I haven't played that much of it. But I can do some weird fart moves and just knock people out and gross them out.
Is Jew still a character class?
No, because they're superheroes.
Okay.
Apparently, Jew isn't a superhero anymore. I think you have the speedster, the magician, or the I forget what they call him, bruiser or something. It's supposed to be like the Hulk or something.
Okay.
And I went with the Hulk one because it's just you get almost like the Thing armor. It's like rocks.
Nice.
And a helmet, and you can charge into people. It's really fun. I fought a dragon, which was really just a dragon made out of cardboard.
That's awesome.
Alone is why it's a great game.
Question: you started Mass Effect, right?
Yeah, I bought Mass Effect for $10. Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah.
Just I was like, cool. Walmart's going out of business. They got a 50% off sale on everything. I'll get Fractured Butthole, Titanfall 2, and Mass Effect Andromeda. I started Mass Effect Andromeda. I got maybe a half hour into it, and I was just like, I don't give a shit about what's happening to these characters. I didn't run any bugs or anything like that. It's just the story was just bleh.
How the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, seriously, it was real unfortunate.
It wounds me.
I was really looking forward to that game when they started advertising for it.
Yeah. Nate, we were online together for Mass Effect 3 at the midnight release.
Yeah. That game had its own problems, but that's a whole other topic. But anyway, that's my list of all the ones I can think of. And we got Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, right.
Everything we talked about.
Well, we're about to, I think, have
a serious conversation.
All right, before we get into Game of the Year, any other honorable mentions you guys have? Top of your head. Have you got everything down?
Yeah.
Okay. So, we're now entering Game of the Year. Look out for spoilers for anyone that hasn't completed any of these games that we're going to talk about. All right.
And the winner is 1-2 Switch.
The
premier launch title for the Nintendo Switch.
Yes, sir. Left field.
All right, so what's nominated?
All right, so for the Game Awards, the nominations are The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Persona 5, and Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, before we get into our Game of the Year, I just wanted to talk about PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds being nominated for Game of the Year.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, Nate, what do you think about it?
Look, I know it's not a fully released game yet.
It's pre-release?
It's an alpha, beta, whatever you want to call it, pre-release.
Yeah.
It's on Steam. I don't know what they call it anymore. It used to be green.
Early access.
Something like that.
Early access,
that's what it is.
Yeah.
But the amount of players in it, it's basically a fully launched game.
Oh, yeah.
They just haven't finished it.
Yeah.
They just haven't finished it, with quotes. I mean, other than they're really just working out bugs as they come in. And that's all that's out of it from now, from this version. But I know
the main gameplay loop's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's full of bugs, but people enjoy the bugs.
Yeah.
I think of it as, I think it should be released when it's most relevant. And it is super relevant right now. And,
my problem is, I don't know if people will rebuy it or people will start buying it if they release it. I feel like it's in this small, I say small, it's a large player base, but I feel like it's kind of still in this small group of people that are playing it compared to every other game. And you have to be really good at that game, otherwise you're just gonna die all the time, and it's not gonna be fun. Like, I feel like if you're gonna get into it, you've missed the point.
Yeah, the point of entry.
Yeah, everybody who's playing it now is really good at it.
Yeah.
So by the time the game launches, if you just like, oh cool, there's a new game coming out, I'm gonna go buy it from the store. You're too late. Your skill level's too low.
I mean, I guess we'll see because it version 1.0 comes out December 1st, I think.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
So we'll see how it does. So, and that's the other way I've been looking at it. It's like they're going to have their final version out in a few days.
True.
So.
Yeah.
Like, sure, they're nominating the beta, but, like, by the time the Game Awards happen, it will be a complete game.
I mean, that's major kudos to them for getting a not finished game into Game of the Year.
Sorry, Carson, real quick. The other thing is, like, the way we interact with games is changing, and they're, like, constantly evolving now, even once they're released. So we're going to see a lot more of this in the future.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say about PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, I have not actually played it. I know what it is though, and I have seen a bunch of gameplay for it. I will say, the one thing that kind of bothers me is that, like, in the definition for Game of the Year, what the Game Awards has is recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. And that's the definition for their Game of the Year. And then I see the other games that are nominated alongside of it. And I know PlayerUnknown is super popular and people love it. And, like, the gameplay is fun. And I do believe, like, gameplay is, like, probably the most important thing about a game. The thing is, like, all the other technical aspects of it, I look at all these other games, and I'm like, holy crap.
Well, that's why it's not going to win.
And that's the thing. That's the thing is, like, they put it in there, and, like, it didn't stand a chance.
No.
So I see other games, like, Senua's Sacrifice, and I'm like, dang, dude, that game was...
Oh, I forgot about... I played that game.
Yeah, you played that game,
I sat down for, like, 8 hours and just played it straight through and just had this weird...
Yeah.
Like, interaction with that game.
Impactful story. Graphics were really good. The mocap was groundbreaking.
That mocap is mind-blowing.
When I see that game not getting a nod for Game of the Year, it kind of makes me a little salty.
I think it's because it didn't have the popularity.
I think...
It didn't have the player count.
That's the thing, is, like, PUBG has such, like, a cultural impact right now.
Yeah.
That it's just kind of hard to it's hard to ignore it. Like, it's dominating the esports scene right now. I mean, you've got Fortnite basically ripping off its whole its gameplay scheme because that's how popular it is. Like, they feel like they need this thing in their game.
Yep, it's true. No, yeah, you're absolutely right about that. I just can't help but feel a little salty. Like, for the reasons I just said.
They're definitely better games.
Yeah, I don't want to get hung up on this too much. Let's actually get into it. So
let's save those two for last.
So PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, none of us believe that's Game of the Year.
None of us.
No.
All right. So
has any of us played Persona?
No.
I almost bought it this weekend, but I don't know if, like, I've heard nothing but good things about it, but, like, I don't know if I can jump into a huge RPG right now. I mean, I'm playing...
Massive.
I say as I'm playing Nier, but...
It's a massive game.
And Skyrim.
I feel like there's a lot of, like, barrier to entry for someone that's never played a Persona game like myself.
Yeah.
I look at it, I'm like, whoa. I don't know if I'm ready for a game like this.
The trailer was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Carson, I hear the exact opposite, which is why I almost picked it up.
Oh, really?
Because I've never played a Persona game either. But I've got 3 friends that have all never played. I think one of them started Persona 4 but didn't finish it.
Yeah.
But none of them, like, are diehards or super ingrained into the franchise. For some of them, it's their first time, and they love it. And they're saying they've never played a game like it before, like how cool it is.
It's super unique. Like, it's super stylish, too. Like, that's another game. It's, I think, nominated for Best Art Direction. I could see it winning potentially, but I think Cuphead's going to win.
That's the only thing I think will give it any competition.
Yeah. But so none of us played Persona 5, and I don't think any of us think it's going to win. Horizon Zero Dawn, Nate, you're the only one that played it and then beat the game.
It's not going to win. We can all agree on that.
Well, like, when you played it, was it like, were you like, holy crap, like, this is crazy?
There were a bunch of moments where you start to, like, because you don't know if you're on Earth for a while. Like, you don't know where you are, what the time is, and how it lines up in, like, our world or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And slowly that gets revealed, and you learn some stuff. And I don't remember. It was a while ago when I played it, but I don't think you ever actually figure out the exact timing. But, like, her journey is really cool, and the ending is really, it was like, I ended up putting the controller down and just watching that end cutscene.
Yeah.
I think I watched it twice. I went online and watched it again. But the gameplay is super fun, but, I mean, it's up against two... I mean, honestly, if I had to pick between Legend of Zelda and Horizon to play a second time, I'd pick Horizon in a heartbeat.
Okay.
Easily. I think it's way more fun, because it's, I don't know, it's way more action packed, and like you get different armors that actually do like crazy things. And I mean, well, that's not true, because Zelda, you get a lot of
I'll say
crazy
this
armors.
about Horizon: the enemies are pretty complex. It looks like,
They're really
to me,
fun.
like the technical achievement, I feel like, is in the enemies and the dinosaur robots and stuff.
You got
like,
weak spots.
Yeah.
You got different ones you're weak against different things.
Yeah.
You get different bows that do different things. You got traps.
Yep.
You can eventually hack into them and use them.
Yeah.
You got flying ones. You got big ones. You got fast ones.
Yep.
The stealth missions in them were even fun.
Okay.
Which is really rare for me to say that, because I hate stealth missions. Assassin's Creed, you're a ninja, you're an assassin. Stealth missions are your thing to do. Nope, I'm just gonna murder everything. So, like, in a game like this, for me to enjoy the stealth,
yeah,
it was really fun.
Okay. Cool.
Now, Nate, I remember you telling me something about Horizon as you were playing it. Was you were critical of the open world?
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember you saying it, like, a lot of it felt like modular, but it didn't fit together as a whole.
Yeah, because you go from, like, this...
Zone to zone, right?
Zoney of that's, like, forests and grass and stuff. All of a sudden, you go, like, 2 steps, and you're in, like, a deserty area, and then there's this snow area for them. Like, it's this world that they compact down.
And I
guess because it's so realistic looking, that it's kind of jarring. Whereas, like, if you look at Zelda and Breath of the Wild, like, you got different zones.
Yeah.
But because of the stylized nature of it, they don't feel like they're butting heads.
Well, and I think that's the problem Horizon runs into is, you know, open worlds are kind of the hit thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the other mechanics of both Horizon and Zelda aside, and just looking at the open world, it's going up against a game that I think perfected the open world, which is Zelda.
I agree completely.
Yeah.
My other problem with Horizon's open world, this might just be me. When I play open worlds, I like to be able to identify where I am without a map.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to know, okay, if I head to the left, I know I'll eventually hit this city.
Yeah.
Horizon, I couldn't do that. I kept having to go to the map and fast traveling. I don't know if it was because of the size or just there's no, like, identifying landmarks.
Right.
Because you're in... like these big treed areas, and even the open areas, you just see trees around you. So it's like, I don't know if that was just me or not.
Right. So we have 2 games left here. We got Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey.
Why don't we just on the count of 3 say which one we think is going to get it?
That might be a little bit confusing for everyone on the other side, but yeah, we can do that.
All right, you count down.
So I'll do 3, 2, 1, and then we'll all say it. Okay?
All
right. Our game of the year. Okay? 3, 2, 1. Breath of the
Super
Wild.
Mario Odyssey.
Oh, Mario! I was expecting you to say Breath of the Wild as well.
No, I talked to him before, and he was telling me that he's leaning towards Mario.
Good.
All right,
Good.
So I'm gonna let you guys talk about Mario Odyssey right now. Why you think it's game of the year? Go ahead, Marley.
All right. There's no denying that what Zelda did was great, but while I love a bunch of stuff that it did, there was still problems that I had with it. Here and there. And when I was playing through Odyssey, I just felt this sheer wave of joy come over me.
100%.
And I I'm playing it and like I couldn't find anything wrong. It was one of those things where I was like, I was going through Zelda. It's like I really like A, B, and C, but I've got this small problem with D. But I'm playing Mario Odyssey. I'm like, I love this whole fucking alphabet. It was just one of these things where it's just like I just felt this pure wave of joy come over me as I was going through it. And every time I discovered something, it kept me going a little bit more. And it's just kind of hard to conceptualize just how much fun I had. And I had an amazing time with Zelda too. So for this game to be better speaks a ton of like to the quality of this game. It was just pure video game fun in its like purest form.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, Nate, do you want to just reiterate some things Marley said?
Marley's got it right. From the beginning of that game, when you press go, you immediately got a smile on your face.
It just clicks.
Everything's fun. The mechanics and the gameplay the controls are so good.
Mm-hmm.
You way to explore, and you think you figured something out, and then all of a sudden you realize you can jump this way and get up here. And so you're running around the zones just like looking for the tiniest little nooks and crannies to try to jump up. And usually when you find them, you're rewarded with a moon or purple coins. You're always rewarded for exploring, which was really nice. Even all the way down towards the end, there's 2 challenge worlds. Mm-hmm. And they're kicking my ass. And I mean, you can vouch for how many times I have put it down because I can't beat the level, but I keep going back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's so many games that like I'm running into things like that where I have challenges and I just say screw it, I'm never gonna get it. But I'm gonna 100% this game.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those.
Times it takes. From
a pure gameplay perspective, in Zelda, I eventually reached a point where from a gameplay perspective, I learned how to do everything.
Right.
And I just took that skill set and I beat the game. I've beaten Mario and I'm still learning ways to play it.
Yeah, I just watched a video the other day and I figured out a new jumping technique.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
What?
Like, I'm constantly learning new things about it.
Yeah, and the adding the new feature to, like, what is it? Capture?
Yeah.
Not possession.
Yeah, sure, capture, possession, whatever.
Like, they added this awesome new feature, and it works so well. Because it added so much extra different mechanics.
Yeah.
To the game. And challenges. Now, Breath of the Wild, I had a lot of fun playing. But the shrines got so repetitive to the point where...
Before you get into it, I want to start talking about Breath of the Wild.
All right, yeah, he wants to pledge his case.
Yes. I gotta bring Breath of the Wild back here. All right. Okay, so before I start talking about Breath of the Wild, I'm gonna talk about Mario briefly.
Go ahead.
Mario Odyssey obviously is really, really, really good. Like, super good. I love Mario games, and this game in particular is definitely one of the better 3D Mario games. My thing is, I'm a big Mario Galaxy fan. Mm-hmm. And Mario Galaxy 2 and Mario Galaxy are like, they're still my favorite Mario games, even though Odyssey's out right now. And, oh man, like, the mechanics in Mario Galaxy, to me, with gravity, are super awesome, and you have some crazy platforming in that game. Now, I will say, that's not an open world game. Mario Odyssey technically isn't an open world game either, but it's more freeform 3D Mario, and I did really enjoy like finding moons everywhere and not getting kicked out of the world and all that. It is really nice. But for me, I see Mario, and the capture mechanic was cool, and that was new, but I didn't get enough. It's Mario, so like I know what to expect for the most part. Mm-hmm. I will say the fan service near the end of the game and in the middle of the game, again, spoilers, guys, the end of the game is super awesome when you're fighting Bowser, and then the way you're escaping is like, oh my gosh, like exactly like you guys said, I had a smile on my face the whole time through. And then when you're in New Donk City and you do the whole 2D Mario bit going through the city, I was like, oh my gosh, that was probably the best part of the game for me, was that whole festival thing. It was
it was amazing.
Best moment. Like, oh my gosh, like so much like homage to the original games and stuff like that. So good. So into Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, to me, it redefined what Zelda is now, and Zelda's been in a desperate need for like a refreshment, kind of like it needs to be refreshed.
Yeah.
And they did it with this game big time. So I will say the dungeons, the main 4 dungeons are not what I want from Zelda, and I want more themed dungeons to come back. But I still had a lot of fun with those dungeons. There are puzzles in there, and moving the beasts around to change the like what the dungeon was really cool. And then the shrines, I really enjoyed the shrines so much. I went ahead and found all 120 shrines, and man, some of those shrines they're super cool puzzles, and some of them are really challenging. Like I came across a few that were like, holy crap! Some of these physics like puzzles were really like hard. Some of them didn't work the way I wanted them to, but the ones that did, oh my gosh, they were great. Now, my big thing with Zelda is like exploration, and this game was absolutely like crazy in terms of exploration. Like when I first got off the plateau, I had this feeling like I hadn't felt in a game in a long time. Like I was like, I have no idea where I'm gonna go right now. Like the game is telling me where the marker is, but I can go anywhere I want right now, and I might get like wrecked by enemies. But all of a sudden, like I'll look over to the right and I see this humongous dragon just like flying through the air, and that moment was just like so surreal to me. Like I was like, what the heck? Like is this a random event? I was like, what? So many question marks. So like the only way to find out is what it was is like to go over there and see what it was. I died because I got too close to it and it electrocuted me. But I was like, dang, like so much mystery and questions that I had to figure out for myself, and I could do it at my own pace. And man, I wish I could go back and relive that. That's a big thing for me. Is like Mario, there were like awesome moments. But like Zelda, I actively wish I could go back and redo everything for the first time again. Like, I was having such a fun journey. And I must say, I'm a huge Zelda fan, so maybe I'm biased. But like, this is exactly what I wanted from Zelda for such a long time. The rewards that you get from doing things, it's not just rupees anymore. You get cool weapons, like cool unique weapons, elemental weapons. Like, I was having so much fun trying to find everything because, like, that loop of, like, going, you see something out in the distance, you can go there, you can mark it on your map, like, oh my gosh, I had so much fun doing all that, like, and that's what made me not, like, care about the dungeons as much anymore, because the world was so engaging. And so at the end of the day, when I'm looking at Game of the Year, I see something on the Switch, a handheld console, having this massive open world game that to me just like is so much fun, and I cannot like not give it Game of the Year. I cannot like give it anything other than Game of the Year. Like, oh my gosh. So let me hear you guys tell me why I'm wrong.
No, you made a super solid case for yourself, dude. And
yeah, you did.
And this, honestly, it was very hard for me to decide which one to go with. At the end of the day, I just went with like the purest raw feeling I had while playing both of them, and I ended up leaning more towards Odyssey. But like, I loved both of these games so much. Like, I think the real winner this year is Nintendo.
Oh, absolutely. This is Nintendo's year. Absolutely. Now, let me ask you guys this real quick. Is the fact that Mario is kind of closer to us right now and hasn't been out as long affecting your decision at all?
No, because... See, I love Breath of the Wild. I played it straight through.
Yeah, but that was a while ago.
It was a while ago. But I also, like, we had the conversation right afterwards. I didn't really like the 4 beasts.
Okay.
Because I really like those theme dungeons.
Yes.
They're really fun. And I feel like the shrines were really cool challenges, but they got repetitive. Okay, cool. Now I gotta go look for another one that's hidden somewhere, and I may not be able to. Even if I find it, I gotta figure out how to get in, which is really cool exploration. But it didn't feel like what I wanted. I wanted more dungeon crawling, like the older games. Like I really like those themes. If they made the beast more unique to each other.
Yeah.
So, like, all right, cool, you're going into the Thunder one, and there's more, it's like thunder things, and there's more thunder things.
Fuck the thunder thing.
Say at this point.
Yeah.
What did he say?
Seriously.
I said, fuck the thunder beast.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, or a fire dungeon requires the fire wand, or the ice wand to get through it.
See, that I didn't mind, because everyone had a different story about how they ended up going through those.
Yeah.
And, like, what equipment they ended up using. So I think for the sheer experimentation factor, I like that it didn't have a required item.
I can see that.
So, Nate, you're in kind of, like, an interesting situation with Zelda games, because you played a lot of them in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
I did.
So, I'm going to say that maybe it's not as impactful for you because, like, you've played so many of them so close together. And I've like played them spaced out, so I've been like longing for like this huge different Zelda game for a long time.
That really shouldn't affect your choice, though.
No, I'm asking if that's that's affected you.
I don't think that affected me at all because I don't think it should be any sort of talk about that and like trying to figure out like especially like with best like year whatever the thing is. Why I'm struggling with words right now. This repeat in my ear. Is just the fact that it wasn't as much fun as Mario.
Boom.
That's what it comes down to.
Okay, fun factor for Nate is Mario is
that, and there's just a whole bunch of things about Mario that were better. Like I don't know. I could never see myself replaying Breath of the Wild ever.
Wow.
Like
DLC though.
DLC is different. It's new stuff. Mario Odyssey, I could start over from 0 and play through the entire game again.
Yeah. Now, what I will say about the DLC, I can't judge it because there's story DLC still coming out, and that's still supposed to come out this year, but it's looking kind of unlikely at this point. I will say this. I feel like I can include the DLC that came out in the summer, because that came out this year, and it's a part of the game.
No, yeah, you can
and I just want to say, like, the trials of that, oh my goodness, that was an awesome challenge.
That's a good comparison. All right, the challenge levels in that game really difficult. I tried it for a while. I still haven't beat it. Mario, I've been playing that same challenge level way more than I ever even attempted. Legends of Zelda challenge levels. Yeah, and I think that's just really cements my choice.
I think to simplify what you're saying, Nate, I think you really enjoy the accessibility of Mario. A lot. Like, and that's a big deal to you. Is like how easy it is to get into that game and have like immediately you're getting moons. Immediately you can get into a tough level. Whereas like when you hit a challenge in Zelda, it's either you gotta think about the puzzle for a while. I'm not saying that you don't enjoy that. I'm just saying you like one more than the other. You know, so is that a fair assessment, you think?
Yes. And no, I don't know. It was a tough call between the two.
Oh yeah, no one's disagreeing with that. Like it's close.
I think
I think Marley also made the point earlier. Like between the two, looking at Breath of the Wild, there were so many good things about it, but there were also a decent amount of things I didn't like about it. Where Mario Odyssey, there's just
consistent. You guys would say Mario is like consistently always hitting this high bar of like excellence.
Yeah,
and Zelda has like great highs, but then it has like these lows that are more like mediocre.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even say mediocre, but like I would hit these tiny dips.
Yeah.
And when I was playing it, I don't think I realized it. But like looking back on it, there are these tiny dips where, you know, I guess my enjoyment kind of shifted a little bit. And it would spike back up eventually, and I loved the game.
Yeah.
But like with Mario, like I felt like I was just on a roller coaster that had no descent. Like I just kept going up and up and up.
Exactly.
And I think Mario Odyssey it's the Mario formula perfected.
Yep.
And Mario at its base is already so much fun. So like to make that even better,
yeah,
it's just like this really like amazing crowning achievement to me.
Okay.
And
plus a lot of costumes that are great.
Yeah.
Now I got a question for you, Karsten.
Free the nips. What?
Yes, definitely free the nips. I have a question for you though. Is the fact that you've been longing for a Legend of Zelda game for as long as you did influence your decision?
Well, like I said, the refreshing part of it, of it being so different and changing a lot of things, I think that's kind of included with what you just said there.
Okay.
So yeah, it is a kind of a big factor for me, like how much they've changed the Zelda formula. They upgraded it seriously. Like
very much
it's
so.
been stuck in this old formula for so long. Like Skyward Sword, dude. Oh my goodness, I love that game, but it's frustratingly linear. Like it's unbelievably linear. Like it's really annoys me sometimes when I play that game. And then I play this game like, holy crap. Take the chains off. Like let the player do whatever you want. Like unbelievable. I will say the end of Breath of the Wild, the end of the story, to me, pretty lackluster. Like I felt like the build up is so amazing. And you get to that final fight with Ganon, and to me, it was like not as hard as I wanted it to be. And it was somewhat satisfying, like seeing Zelda and everything again. Like that was cool. But the Ganondorf stuff, or Ganon, I should say, was unsatisfying to me. Like I wanted more from Ganon than what we got. But so at the end of the day, for Breath of the Wild, it's still my game of the year. My thing is the highs that it hits are so high that it kind of like overrides any of the lows I have with it. Whereas I do agree, Super Mario Odyssey, very consistent. I didn't have a part of Mario where I was not enjoying myself. Breath of the Wild, there were parts where I was like, this could be better. But the amount of enjoyment I got from the great parts, like this game gave me goosebumps at parts of the game, like of the story. When certain like music beats hit, I got goosebumps. And like that means, usually when you get goosebumps, your body's emotionally being triggered by something in the game. And that's like, that doesn't happen with everything. Like I didn't get that from Mario. But so at the end of the day, Breath of the Wild is still mine. And I probably haven't changed your guys' mind. Like we all agreed, both these games amazing.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah.
So if we want to put a stamp on the Geek XP's Game of the Year, Odyssey. I think it's fair to say Super Mario Odyssey's Game of the Year.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like fight that or anything. Like it's 2v1, and I also think Super Mario Odyssey is freaking amazing.
Look, you can take your shirt off.
10 out of 10. You can take your shirt off.
You can take your shirt off, and you can make your dog play fetch with your hat.
I have gold Mario right now. Also, the Mario 64.
Yeah, that was
costume,
awesome.
Which was awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I can't get over the cool costumes.
Nintendo gamers are the real winners.
It's
been an amazing year.
Now, before we wrap this up and end it, what do you guys think are the chances of, since Mario and Zelda, I think they're going to split a lot of votes, potentially.
And you think some dark horse?
I'm worried that one of these other games is going to like sneak in as number one, potentially.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, it's tough. So I looked at the way they do the vote tabulating. 90% are from like game critics and outlets, and then 10% are popular vote from anybody that wants to vote.
Oh yeah, and then we're good.
So I think we're pretty safe for the most part. But like that's happened in the past with award shows. It's like two are really good and one's still like pretty good, and the two just like kick the crap out of each other.
On one of the IGN podcasts, they were saying that's what happened last year or whatever year it was that Overwatch came out.
Okay.
That's how Overwatch won their game of the year. There was two other games that were splitting votes.
Yeah.
And Overwatch kind of came in as this dark horse.
Now, if that happens, I think Persona 5 will take it.
That's what
Persona 5.
Because this is not a hit on anybody who plays PlayerUnknown's Battleground. I don't think the players really give a shit if it wins or not.
Yeah.
They're going to take the time to vote.
Yeah, they're just happy it got nominated.
Or they don't even care if it got nominated. They just want to play it.
I think after Mario and Zelda, Persona's probably the most critically well received.
Yeah.
And I think that would be the one to take it.
All right, yeah. I mean, I think I would choose Horizon to be the dark horse if I had to choose one. I think Persona's a little bit niche.
Over the two, I'd rather Horizon one.
Yeah. I feel like Horizon got more publicity. And Sony was behind it more in terms of marketing and everything. And I think it sold more probably too. Maybe? I don't know. I'm kind of...
The story in it's really cool, and Marley, you need to play it.
I know. I will get to it.
I will lend it to you.
So many games to play.
You don't even have to buy it.
I gotta finish Robot Anime Waifu game.
You can have a cool waifu who fights dinosaurs, with a bow and arrow.
But what if the robots have souls? See, that's what I'm dealing with right now in Nier.
I don't know how to deal with you.
Now, guys, we're all forgetting one special game that came out this year that honestly should be here, and
Waifu Simulator 3000?
Star Fox 2.
That got timely released this year, and it's garbage.
My game of the year is the Super Nintendo Entertainment Mini.
Yeah.
We were talking about it earlier too. Do they count as a release for the year?
Star Fox 2 definitely does.
Star Fox definitely, yeah.
And it definitely is game of the year.
No, it's not.
I'm just kidding.
I was looking. That's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
Jesus, that game is.
I think we've talked enough about game of the year, guys. Let us know what you thought maybe is your game of the year. Hopefully we broke it down enough for you guys. Marley, where can they find you at?
You can find me here on the Geek XP. Probably going to start some Overwatch streams soon. And on Twitter, rebellious_Ewok.
Nice. Nate, they can find you here at YouTube, right?
Yeah, pretty much every day because I'm going to start streaming some more.
Cool. And you guys can find me, Carson, at Carson_save on Twitter and here on Geek XP. We do Smash Weekly every Monday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Stay tuned for that. Platform Thursdays, Nate likes to do on Thursdays sometimes.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to play this Thursday.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So yeah. I can't wait for the Game Awards. Hopefully you guys all tune in and watch it because I think it's a really cool thing that they do this. I know a lot of people don't take it seriously, but I enjoy watching it.
Schick Hydro Man.
Yeah, Schick Hydro Man is not going to be there for anyone that was wanted to know about
that.
Oh,
well, I'm not watching then.
As him at BlizzCon.
Yeah, but guarantee there will be some cringe there. That's half the reason I watch it.
100% guaranteed.
The cringe is super bad sometimes, but the world premieres are there too.
That's really
Which
good.
is a big deal also. So
Assassin's Creed Origins, the prequel sequel.
And with that, everybody, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios.